Hello, we're back.
Hundreds of thousands.
We are so grateful for your support. The Flic Hub is new.
Well, yes, it makes Flic even better.
Anyone, you,
Your family
Your co-workers,
your guests,
can all use the same buttons.
64 Flic buttons. And with the infrared accessory,
your flicks will be able to control
Almost anything.
We're so proud to finally show you the Flic Hub.
it's ready for production, but we need your support once again to make it a reality.
Join us in our mission to make great technology simple again.
It looks like a smiley. It's white.
Designed to be very stylistic and designed to kind of melt into your home so that it doesn't take any place at all.
Swedish design. Now you can control hundreds of thousands of devices.
Millions.
It might even flush your toilet for you.
What?
So, hi everyone, this is Joachim. He's the CEO, no sorry, he's the founder of Shortcut Labs, which builds the product Flic. The startup was born out of KTH, I think, right? So how has your journey been? Did you always want to be an entrepreneur, or how did it come about?
Yeah, I think so. I have always dreamed about it, at least. And my father runs a company, and we always talk a lot about that. So I think that has been a driving factor.
Right.
I was after I studied, I worked like 3 years for different companies. I never felt that was right. And then so that's when I decided to start my own company.
Right. And you did an MSc in product design at KTH, I think.
Yeah.
And do you think that was beneficial for your experience as an entrepreneur?
Yeah, product and design realization. No, design and product realization.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. I've always wanted to build products, physical things, and that's what we do now. So, like in the start, like for the first year or so, I tried to do it alone before I realized I needed more people. But it was really good for me to be able to do designs of physical things, but also to do some code and having practiced presenting, pitching things. So it's all very, yeah, of course, I wouldn't have been able to do it without an education. So it was a good education.
And how were you able to get in touch with your co-founders?
Yeah, it was different. I was at the KTH incubator, and I met Amir, one of the co-founders, when we were allowed to exhibit at Armada job fair.
Right.
So we exhibited there together with KTH Incubator. It was called Startup Inc. at the moment. But yeah, I met Amir there. He was just like interested of the prototypes that I had. Saw an applications for it within Smart Home, and so he decided to join. And I also I realized I needed someone who was more into sales and more into kind of contact making with other people. And I knew this guy Pranav. He was a very in the center of things when it comes to kind of knowing people and within the kind of Stockholm startup community. So I managed to convince him after a while that this was a fun thing to do. And so he jumped on. It was about the same time as me. So we were three for a good moment, for a good while. But then we also got in touch with a lot of developers from KTH who started working on our project as part of a software development course, and so most of them are still employees here.
And so, what was the original business idea, and like, has it evolved over time, or have you guys stuck with it?
It started off as just a smartphone app, where it was just a big button in the middle, and it said it was supposed to track snus, never take tobacco. It was just supposed to press a big button in the middle of the screen, but that became kind of complicated because you still had to kind of pull up the phone from your pocket and unlock it and find that application in order to just press a button. So the original business idea was just to have a button to do that, a physical button. But then we quickly realized so much more can be done with a wireless button.
Right.
But since then, I think the idea is pretty much what it was from the beginning. A smart button that can do pretty much anything. The product has always been quite limited by the capabilities of different operating systems, such as iOS and Android. So I think it's less capable than we dreamt of from the start. But it's still very similar. Yeah.
Like working in a startup, there are a lot of opinions from different parts of the team. Do you feel that there are conflicting opinions about different issues, and how do you generally try to get rid of them? Or
yeah, we were three founders, and we always disagree, for sure, but we also always try to discuss things that we disagree upon, and try to reach some consensus, and actually take decisions by democracy. Basically, if two people want the same thing, that's the way we do, and that's been really good because we are. I think that's important because the three of us are very different, and we have very different views of what will be successful and what can work and not.
Right.
And we're all wrong at some points. So I think that has definitely been a key success factor of our company, that we are very different and that we dare to take the conversation, dare to discuss it. Lately we've changed the management, so now it's more process driven. We have a new CEO who can take decisions without discussing it with everyone else, which makes the business much quicker. And we can take decisions much quicker, which is really good, but it's also it's better, I think, if you start, that you really think about the different, when you create a company, that you think about all different kind of views. And I think it's very hard for a single entrepreneur to get everything right from the beginning. Not that we got everything right, but now at least we built a company that has a certain structure and certain processes and methods. And now it would make more sense to have a more process-driven decision making.
Right.
And quicker decisions to scale. But when we grow, to scale and grow, but when we start from the beginning, it was good to discuss it a lot.
Right.
Even though it was maybe slower.
Right. So, like, considering that now you've built a company for a little while, it's been quite a few years. If you had to change something, or if you had to do this over again, would you do something differently, or is it?
It's really hard to say. Of course, when we started, you always had dreams that there should be a huge company after 5 years. It's been 5 years now.
Yeah.
And it's not a huge company. So, of course, there are things that could have been different, but I'm not sure what that would have been.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay. Just one final question about like anybody who's like trying to get into entrepreneurship, I think one of the biggest things or biggest issues when they're trying to build a company or get it off the ground is to raise money for it.
Yeah.
What do you think is like the most important thing when you're trying to pitch to investors, or what could be a good way to make get started off the ground? Do you think we should, I don't know, maybe get started with building the product first, or should we start in the idea phase and try to get in touch with VCs? Or do you think like maybe bootstrapping it by yourself is probably a better idea? Or
I think the longer you can manage without investors, the better, actually.
okay,
Because it takes a lot of time to raise money, and it's time and effort, that could be spent on raising users, so to speak, instead, to actually gain some traction. And in most kind of businesses, it's possible to do that without external financing.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to be kind of bootstrap, kind of smart.
right,
It's even more difficult, I think, for a hardware project, because you need products to sell, and that requires a lot of money. You can do crowdfunding, which
Right.
we did, which is a good way, but it's very, very seldom that crowdfunding is sufficient for because building hardware is much more expensive than people believe.
Yeah.
And so we raised money just basically just after, or just before, at the same time, basically, as we raised our crowdfunding as well.
Right.
And without that, we wouldn't have managed. But at least we had some form of traction. Actual people that actually paid real money for fantasy product. So it kind of proved a little bit that there was a market. You can argue about that, but at least I don't think we were too early with raising money, because that can be difficult. If you're if you're an experienced founder that has done, I don't know, an exit before or something, successful company before, I think it's much easier to come just with a paper product to pitch investors, and probably even know investors, and they like you really much. But as a new entrepreneur, I think that is basically impossible.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time. I think that'll be helpful for our course.
Okay.
All right.
Good.